Welcome to the Open Mic Podcast. This is Noah Jones, the host of the show, and today I'm being joined by one of the coolest individuals that I think I know in Richland County, Frank Boyd Jr. How are you today, man?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking.
Awesome. We met because one of my friends, Brady Jacquin, told me to look into you. He said that you were a phenomenal guitarist, and I believe that was an understatement because you performed at Richland Source After Hours this year for us, and you were just absolutely unbelievably talented. And I think maybe even the most impressive part is that the Frank Boyd Jr. Band, everyone is unbelievable. It's not just like one person is better than the other. You guys are all off the charts in terms of talent. How in the world did you guys all get that good, and how did you find musicians to be on your level of guitar playing?
The musicians, we played together back 25, 30 years ago.
Okay.
In a band called Perfect Combination Rhythm and Blues Band. And we all been playing 50 plus years. So we started as kids. You know, I started when I was 5, and D'Arco was around 6, 7 years old. His dad was a professional drummer. So we kind of just, that's what we did, man. We didn't hang out, you know. We kind of just sit around and did what we loved, which kept us out of a lot of trouble because we was too busy trying to be the next star.
Well, the coolest thing I think about the band is that, you know, while you guys are just playing these absolute fantastic jams, which we'll listen to in a little bit, you guys just have this chemistry where you can look at your bass player or the drummer or your keyboardist, and you guys are just all having a great time. You're all on the same page. It's very clear that you guys have been playing together for a long time, and you guys just have this real chemistry that's very visible, and it's really, really, really fun to watch you guys get to play.
But actually, that band was only, that particular band you heard was only like 9 months old.
Well, then you're really good at acting.
Yeah, we kind of put that together.
Okay.
9 months ago.
Gotcha. I see.
So
cool.
It's just that we played together before. We just kind of fine-tuned it. It didn't take long to get back in the groove. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. So talk to me about the stuff that you play. You perform gospel music, but it's not like your church choir gospel music. Talk to me a little bit about how you sort of came up with your style of music.
That's interesting. Let me say how that happened.
Okay.
That came about in 2010. I was in Crestline, Ohio, at a little restaurant called Jane's Hunger Pains. And I was actually playing with a friend of mine, Dale Powers. We were over there jamming. So the lady asked me, can you play any gospel blues? And first thing came to my mind is, I don't know about the gospel part, but I can play some blues. So unbeknownst to me, I said, yeah. And when I said, yeah, I'm thinking, well, what's wrong with you? Because I didn't have any songs. I didn't know anything, man. So I go home and I tell my wife, I said, you got to help me, because I just fell off the deep end telling somebody that I could play this and that. But that's really how it came about, you know. The music itself, when I got out of the entertaining business in 2002, I didn't play at all for about 2-3 years. Because I thought that, you know, when I got back in church that I couldn't do both, couldn't do what I love to do.
Why is that?
Well, the devil was trying to convince me that my career and everything I love was over, you know.
What was your career?
Well, I was a blues guitarist.
Oh, all right, okay.
And then when I couldn't do it again, you know, I'm in church, so people holler about the blues as the devil music. But that's another sermon.
Well, this is the Open Mic Podcast, so I would love to hear it, to be honest with you.
This is another sermon. I'm not, it's not, B.B. King once said, that's his job. You know, that wasn't my total job, but that was a job.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I'm driving that truck, am I driving that truck for the devil? You know, I drive a truck for a living. Am I doing it for the devil, or am I doing it for my livelihood?
Gotcha.
So I kind of don't, you know, I wave that off. But so 2010 is when this came about, man. Well, bring me back up. My wife went and bought me 2 CDs by Glenn Kaiser.
Okay.
That was blues, gospel blues. And because she said I was just withdrawn, you know. I've never known myself to be depressed, but I think I was. For my wife to go buy me 2 CDs. So when she bought those CDs, though, I said, I'm back.
Amazing.
Oh man, I mean, it's just like the light came back on, my joy came back, and then Dale Powers asked me to do the CD, the Standing at the Crossroads of My Life. That's my first Christian CD. I didn't have a clue what I was gonna do. I told my wife, I said, you got to help me again, because I just accepted another thing I didn't know nothing about. So it all came about.
Sure.
And I didn't have anything. I didn't have anything. No, this is the crazy part about it. I didn't have anything, man. And as I was riding down the road, man, God would give me these words. And he said, sure you have something. Write about your life. Write about things that make people think about life. Like that. What's done in the dark, that's a perfect example.
Well, yeah. So your most recent album, What's Done in the Dark, came out in August of this year. Yeah. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but I want to sort of focus on this. Maybe it's a transition. I'm not entirely sure yet, but it sounds like your Christianity maybe has gotten stronger since you became a gospel musician, or just tell me how being a blues gospel musician has affected your beliefs. Has it made you had a stronger connection with God?
Oh, absolutely. Excuse me. I get to take this ministry places where most people wouldn't go.
Like where?
In bars, all over the place, man. I've played in bars, singing about Jesus.
Mm-hmm. And
you have to be there to see it, And a lot of times when I'm taken to these places, it's not about the music. I'm there. The music is my platform to get me in places for what I'm supposed to do.
Gotcha.
I remember a friend of mine who had cancer, and Frank Medley asked me to play down here at this bar on Orange Street, and I'm like, eh. But then I said, okay. So we go, and when we get there, we do what we do. We rock the joint, man. But it was a person there that had cancer, and my mission was to lay hands on him and pray over him. That was the mission that I was sent on. It wasn't to go play music, So we're standing outside, my wife and I, and we got our hands on this brother, man. We're praying for and healing for him. He lived another 3 years.
That's amazing. That's incredible. Do you think that people at bars know that you're singing about Jesus? Or?
Dude, I tell them.
Okay.
I tell them. I ain't sneaking in the front door. I'm walking right in bold.
Sure. Yeah. What's the reception like?
When a reception comes in, let me back up and say, what was it like when I stepped in your door?
Well, I know what it was like for me. I loved it, and it was probably one of the greatest decisions of my life to have you play.
There you go.
But I was hoping to hear what you have to say.
There you go.
All right, so then I'll tell the listeners, it's awesome. Seriously, I think that you may be the greatest music group to come through Newsroom After Hours in terms of not just music ability, because everyone was just absolutely so good, but also you guys just did a really great job of keeping up with the vibe of the audience too. I think you guys have a really awesome stage presence, and it really was surprising to me that you said you've only been together for 9 months. Yeah. because the chemistry between you guys was just unremarkable. It was fantastic.
When I'm on stage playing, the band itself is anointed. When God anoints something, it's going to be the greatest thing you ever heard.
Yeah.
You pull that anointing away from him, man, it's just like anything else. But what I do for an audience of one, and that's my Lord. I personally love what I do, but when I accepted the challenge, man, it was all about him, and it was all about taking the message where here's the deal. This is the way I see it. I'm also a minister, a preacher. I stand behind pulpits and preach. I have been asked last time. It's back a month ago down in Dayton. I was preaching, but my mission, man, is to take the message of God to the byways and the highways, to be where Jesus was. He was among the sinners. See, a lot of people won't go in that building. I am the church. So the church have to go to the lost. That's my mission statement is to leave the 99 and go get the one.
I love that. That's awesome.
You know.
Do you have a song off your album that you want to sort of showcase, and we'll talk a little bit about it today on your new album, What's Done in the Dark?
Yeah, I got one. It's called Don't Let the Hearse Be Your First Ride to Church.
All right, awesome. We're going to listen to Don't Let the Hearse Be the First Ride to Church, and we'll come back and talk a little bit about it. We're back with Frank Boyd Jr. That was his song off of his What's Done in the Dark. We came out in August. Don't let the hearse be your first ride to church. You want to talk about the song? I mean, it seems like a fairly obvious song, right? It basically, you're suggesting that you should go to church before you die or before you're on your deathbed.
Yeah, you should. Matter of fact, that song, I was at a funeral, my first cousin's funeral last year in February, when my other first cousin, was preaching the funeral. And he said, Don't let the hearse be your first ride to church. I said, that's a song. So I came home and I wrote it. And when I wrote it, I didn't try to write it, all up there. I wanted to keep it simple, so people could hear the words and feel the music and think about the message that's in it. A lot of people think that building that you go in is the church. God's not coming back for a building. He's coming back for you. So you either accept him now while you got breath in your body, because once it's over, it's like anything else. You can't go back.
Right.
And no, I want to say this. When I'm out performing, man, and preaching God's word and playing music, I'm not trying to push it off on anybody. God gave us free will. You choose what you want to choose. I'm not saying I'm perfect. We all have our shortcomings, But I believe in what I'm doing. And I've seen the evidence, the fruit of what I'm doing. I've been in bars singing about Jesus, and I've had people come up and tell me, man, it seemed like you were preaching to me. It wasn't me. It was the word speaking to them. I've been in bars singing, man, when I'm outside laying my hands on people, praying for them for a blood vessel leaking in their brain. It's not about the music. The music is, like I said, is my platform. It's about what I do, man. And I've been told by all kind of people, don't stop doing what you're doing, because what you're doing does make a difference.
Yeah, well, you're going to be able to make a difference on November 16th, too, with your CD release party, correct?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Let's talk a little bit about that. It's going to be in Belleville?
Be in Belleville at Brumby's Pizza Parlor, coffee shop.
Great spot.
Yeah, and Brett's a friend of mine, and I thought, what a better place to do something where you can eat and listen to good music.
Yeah. It's hard to argue with that.
We also, the band is planning a trip to Germany and Poland next year.
Oh, very cool.
We fly out April 31st and come back the 18th of May.
Okay.
So we're looking forward to doing that.
What cities are you going to be visiting?
First start out in Berlin. Now,
okay.
All the rest of these Polish names and all this, they kind of... Yeah.
Here, and here?
I know I'm going to be in a town called Jari, Poland.
Okay.
But some of them names get a little...
Sure. No worries. I won't embarrass you any further.
I'm trying to.
So the song we just played, "Don't Let Your Hearse Be the First Ride to Church," nailed it that time. It's part of your 10-track album. Are there any other songs on there that you are very proud of that you can send people who are listening right now to check out?
Look up.
Well, I have it open. Which one do you want? Which one?
Look up.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's the name of the song.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I'm an idiot. I apologize.
You're not an idiot.
Okay, cool. We're just going to listen to that one because I love your music.
Someone looking out for you. Look up, turn your eyes toward heaven. Look up and say a little prayer. Look up, just touch Jesus, and you'll find him waiting there. Searching for your strength and you feel like you're gonna give in. And no matter what you do, you believe that you just can't win. It's like Satan got a hold on you and he won't let go. If you trust in Jesus, your bill is healing power flow. Look up into the eyes of Jesus. Look up and he'll comfort you. Look up and you'll feel the power. take possession. If you would let him in, he's there to give you understanding. If you would just call on his name, look up, I turn your eyes toward heaven. Look up and say a little prayer. Look up and just talk to Jesus. Look up, you find him waiting there. Look up, look up, look up, look up.
So that was your song "Look Up" off of your album "What's Done in the Dark." Talk to me a little bit about what that's about.
Well, that song there, you know, we're always looking around and down, and then when things go wrong in our lives, man, we're trying to fix it and find this way to fix it. You never think about looking up to the Creator, where your help come from. You know, nothing's by accident.
Sure.
You know, everything we do when we wake up in the morning, man, that's a brand new day. You know, that's a miracle in itself. So when you're having problems, you know, I look up. Now I have found a little bit of money, looking down.
Stepped on a penny or two.
Well, no, I'm talking about finding a little bit of change, you know, a few dollars in there. But but the real help, man, comes from looking up. I was down in the basement and I was playing that lick, you know, at rehearsal.
It's a very, very strong intro to the song.
My keyboard player at the time, Don Bennett, he started singing. He wrote that song, the vocals, but it was written to a country song. Yeah, and he said, "Here, man, take this song and see what you can do with it." And that's what I came up with.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's funny how that works with another entirely different genre of music.
Totally different.
Yeah.
If you hear that song in the country version, which is as good, but it doesn't have that, you know, that oomph to it.
You're right.
You know.
Yeah.
But Don's a great songwriter and great musician, man. He's got a beautiful voice.
Very cool.
You know.
Well, Frank, thank you so much for joining the Open Mic Podcast. I've had an absolute blast. If anyone is interested in finding your music online, where can they go?
They can go to Spotify, Amazon, should be on CD, baby, iTunes.
You're on Instagram and Facebook too, right?
On Facebook, yeah.
Okay.
No, I don't think I might be on Instagram.
Well, you're definitely on Instagram. I follow you.
Okay, then I'm on Instagram. Well,
all right, awesome. And that's Frank Boyd Jr. as your name on social media as well, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, my full name is Frank James Boyd Jr.
Gotcha.
But that's what I go by. And before you end this thing, man, I don't fly to Texas. My youngest son, he told me, he said, "Dad, I got a surprise for you." And I'm like, "What?" He said, "I have a friend in Texas that has a state-of-the-art studio, and he wants to record you free."
Wow, that's awesome.
So I'm going to fly down. My son's an entertainer, too, so I'm going to fly down, and hopefully him and I will do a song together.
Oh, that'll be awesome. That'll be really great.
Man,
I can't wait to hear that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming through. I really appreciate it, man.
Me. It's been a good time, man. And,
yeah.
you know, thank you again, man. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome.